today. So, a lot of people may be asking what exactly is human trafficking, and basically, human trafficking occurs when people are forced into some type of labor without consent. They're forced to work these long hours with little to no pay, and a lot of times they're often sold and just put in these really hard situations. And everyone is susceptible to human trafficking, regardless of race, age, gender, or background. And a lot of times when someone thinks about human trafficking, they think about the more well known form of trafficking, such as forced prostitution. However, sexual exploitation is not the only way someone can be a victim of human trafficking. In fact, it can appear in many forms, such as forced labor, crime, domestic servitude, forced child labor. And I did put forced child labor and forced labor as two different bullet points because I think a lot of times people think that it's only adults that become stuck in these situations, but a lot of times it is kids that are unfortunately trafficked and they're, trapped in these terrible situations. And these people are often harbored, transported, and obtained and are forced to commit these acts in ways that involve tactics such as physical threats, psychological coercion, deception. The list goes on and on. And, some people may ask, how do these people even become slaves? It seems pretty obvious to us, especially if, for example, we received a job offer from overseas, it'd be pretty obvious to say no. But however, these people, a lot of times they come from really poor living conditions, and it seems like a really good way to escape the situation they're in. For example, a lot of these people do live in poverty, and they get this job offer, or maybe they're offered to be able to get an education or something like that, and it sounds really good, and they want to be able to support their families, so they might go off with these people, and in the end they realize that it wasn't true, and now they're stuck in this situation. And a lot of times if they're taken overseas or to a different region, their traffickers will take all forms of identification, and suddenly they don't have a way to identify themselves and they can't leave even if they want to. So in the end, they're just stuck with their traffickers, and they're completely dependent on them, and they're forced to just work in whatever scenario their trafficker wants them to work in. So I'm going to give you some numbers here, and human trafficking brings in a profit of roughly 150 billion per year. This number is accompanied by these staggering statistics that I have up here. And the truth is that, as awful as it may sound, there are about 25 million people that are trapped in some form of trafficking today. And I actually think the number is a little bit higher, because this article that I did get this from was from about 2017. So I believe that the number maybe even up to 40 million today, which is just a staggering, terrible number to realize that that many people are stuck in human trafficking. And the thing is that this isn't just adults, it is also minors. It's kids like, like us that go to school every day that are being trafficked, these horrible situations. And a lot of them are never escaped and are never heard from ever again. So this brings us to one thing: what can we do? And unfortunately, the reality is that not many of us will be able to go out to the field and actually do raids, or bring these people out of these horrible situations, but we can be more aware and know the signs. For example, if someone seems to be fearful or overly submissive, or they come from poor living conditions, or they may have signs of physical abuse, these are signs that they might be a victim of human trafficking. Also, a big one is if they seem to be controlled or carefully watched. If like there's someone that always seems to be around them and is always watching their every move and never lets them be by themselves, that could be a sign that that person might be their trafficker. So, in conclusion, by educating ourselves and recognizing the signs of human trafficking, we become more aware of the people around us that could be trapped in this situation. Thank you.